Well, anyways, we're going to move on to number 6.
Okay.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sand.
So yeah, if you don't know, that is Finding Nemo. Personally, I think that was like an amazing film. It talks about a lot about like parenthood and friendship a lot. I thought that it was a good lesson. The director, I don't know his name, but he kind of made this film based on like his own life and his own child. Like he was very like protective of his child, and he kind of like regrets that. And so it kind of made the story about like letting children live their own lives and not keeping them in this bubble. So I thought this movie was like really good.
That is a good point. And I feel like the ranking for this is good because it is one of the cornerstone movies that you should see as a Pixar film. But for me, it's not a top 3. So I feel like that's a fair spot for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care that much for Finding Nemo, but I have respect for Finding Nemo.
Right.
Like I feel like you have to have respect for Finding Nemo as a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, we're gonna go on to the top 5 now.
Top 5.
Yes, sir.
Big 5. That's like a store, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is. Oh, okay.
Oh no, I don't. I'm. All right.
Dude, this movie was like, God, this was really good.
It was, right.
Dude, I was not expecting this movie to be this good.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest.
I was like, dude, everyone overhypes this movie so hard.
Really?
I never watched it, and I was like, whatever. And I saw it, and I was like, dude, that was really good.
Dude, it was such a beautiful movie, and like it just talks about like life and being able to like move on and not linger on the past. I thought that was a really good message. This whole time, Carl, he's like, man, my wife's dead, right? And it's like, he just is just trying to live in the past basically. But Russell comes along and he finally achieves his dream of going to what's that place called?
Paradise Falls.
Yeah, but like on the way he learns like there's more to life than just like what's in the past. So he starts like living in the future a little bit more.
Right.
But what his wife and him used to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he kind of became like, I can't find the right word for it, but you know what I mean? Like he was like suppressed, maybe? I don't know. Like I can't find the word, but damn it.
But
it's not a top 5 movie for me, but it's definitely a top 10 movie for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I still really like it, but it's not top 5.
To me, the animation in that movie was like on point, dude.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like I was like enjoying just watching it, which is rare for me. I'm usually not like super like, oh, the animation has to be like a certain way, but that one was like you could see like the look in his eyes, like he looked like, you know what I mean? Like it just everything about the animation in that movie was like on point. And I liked how I like the relationship with Russell. To me wasn't super like emotional. It was just kind of funny, but it worked really well.
Because he gave him the cold shoulder for a majority of the movie, and so once they hit the turning point to where he moves the house from where he actually wanted it to be, you can kind of see him soften up towards Russell.
I thought it was funny when he was stuck outside too.
Yeah, on the porch.
The house is funny. Oh, dude, and also the villain I thought was like a surprise for me. Like I thought that was like really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Like him being his like what he looked up to, that was like insane.
Yeah, that was really good. And I thought like, even the first like 4 minutes of like just seeing Ellie and Carl's life, dude, there's so much emotion in there.
Dude,
like there's so much like high and like of like low parts in there in like 4 minutes, and like you just see their life. It's like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Something
sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, go ahead.
I was saying when that scene was coming up, like I knew it was gonna happen, right? And I was like, dude, like everyone always says this is like the crying. Like I wasn't, you know what I mean? Well, the second I saw him like walking on the sidewalk, I started crying. I was like, because I already knew it was gonna happen. You know, I knew he was gonna find the fucking. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
That's all right.
Okay. I knew he was gonna find the perfect. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, like that's it. Like,
I think the thing that really did it for me was the fact that they portrayed so much emotion and like things about their life without them saying a word.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
they went through so much and there were 0 words, but you knew what was going on, and that's what makes a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That soundtrack was on point. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
True that.
You know, they used to back in middle school. I used to be like really chubby, right? And they used to call me that.
You know what's interesting about Up is Up, the soundtrack composer is the same for Ratatouille.
It is.
Really?
Yeah. And they're so different too.
And they're so different, but they're both really good soundtracks.
Really
My
good.
2 favorite soundtracks. Up is definitely Up and Ratatouille are like 2 of my favorite soundtracks of Pixar. Like no doubt about it. I can't really choose one, but
Now, if you notice in the Up soundtrack, you know the main melody, the dun 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 dun, right? Like that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's this. They use the same thing for like when he's escaping from Charles Muntz.
Really?
I didn't notice.
Yeah, when it's like all intense, like dun 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 dun. Like, dude, I was like, dude, this is good, man. They're using like the same notes, and it's like way different. You know, that's how I knew. I was like, okay, this movie's like, this is good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but you know, I think overall this film shows a lot of warmth, humor, and the pain of grieving and letting go.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
100.
Well,
Yeah.
let's go on to number 4.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's not what I was expecting.
It's funny when I made when I was thinking of the list, I think I put Toy Story at the same spot as you.
Really, number 4.
I did, yeah.
You know,
Number 4.
this was the first ever Pixar feature film to be created, right? You know, everyone knows about it. It's the one that started the whole like franchise, basically.
Right.
I thought it was a great story of like 2 opposites creating a friendship, and you know, this story is still funny, entertaining, and satisfying even like today. Even though it's like really old, I think that the story still holds up like really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Anything else?
No, I think we all agree that it's definitely a top 5 movie.
Yeah.
I have to say though, sorry to be that guy. Like I love the movie, but every time I watch it, dude, I'm like, dude, like Woody, like what are you doing? Like it always bothers me.
he was jealous. He was really jealous. But, like,
Yeah.
I really.
And then I always have to see the pressed buzz every time. And like,
You know,
it always pisses me off, but it's like, it's so good that I can't say it's bad at all. It's just, it literally comes down to like how it makes me feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
what I really liked was like how like Woody was just like super jealous, and like Buzz just did not give a fuck at all. Like he was just like he was just trying to mind his own business, and Woody's like, I hate you.
See, but a lot of people in life are like that. If someone
True.
is in the same position, people become consumed that they're not
Number 1.
yeah,
Just
the best at what they're doing, or like someone at work that's better than you. No, just learn from them or whatever. Yeah, be cool with them like he was with Buzz.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a good message to not be consumed by jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Great movie.
It's good. Yeah, it's a classic.
All right. We're gonna go on to number 3. Almost done with this list.
This is it.
Number 3. Incredibles. Okay.
There you go.
All right. I can respect that.
Dude,
I think this is also same composer as Ratatouille and Up, believe it or not.
So
Really?
the music is by Michael Giacchino.
It's the same
Yeah.
guy.
Same
Dude.
guy.
Dude, really good soundtrack.
Strictly bangers.
Yo, this movie honestly is like really good. Like it's always one of those movies I never expect to be like. I'm like, oh, okay, Incredibles. But every time I watch it, I'm like, okay, this is like one of the best movies.
Yeah.
It
Incredible.
always surpasses my expectations every time I watch it.
Yeah, dude. You know, they this movie was a very memorable experience and had a lot of funny scenes in it. You know, they live in a society where it bans superheroes, but you know, these superheroes are still trying to work secretly. And you know, basically relive the glory days that they used to have. You know, that could relate to a lot of people today. Like, oh, you know, for example, for me, like, oh, football player, right? But like years later, I'm like old, and like,
Yeah.
bones are like falling apart or something like that, and you know, it's like, man, I miss those days. And you know, obviously you can't like play again, but like, you know, just trying to relive those glory days.
I used to be a center.
but but what I really thought was cool was that Brad Bird created the whole movie in under 2 hours, and nothing felt like cramped or like rushed.
Exactly. Dude, he's a really good director. He didn't see that movie.
I honestly think he's like my favorite director, and I'll tell you why later. But like,
No, I agree. Like he's definitely like top 3 directors.
dude, especially dude, he even did like Edna Mode's voice.
Yeah.
Like
Good,
That's crazy.
More about Brad Bird later, probably.
But like when he was trying to find like a good like voice actor for Edna, he was like, no, I want to like this, and just did it. And then someone was just like, oh, why don't you just do the voice? And so he just did the voice.
So hold my beer.
He's like one of the best ones too in that movie.
Dude,
Like, you don't think that's a dude?
Yeah, no, you don't. But like, he's hella funny.
Dude, the thing about that movie though was thinking about earlier was that it really created like a whole world.
It really
within
did.
that time limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really did good. Like I know every Pixar movie does that, like Monsters, Universe, blah blah blah, you know. But this movie like really like nailed like that superhero world, you know.
Yeah.
And there's I don't think there's a comic to it too, right?
Is there?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think like it's like he did that all within that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based off nothing. I don't know if that's 100% facts, but it's like that's how well the movie was. Like I felt like, you know, the scene where he's looking through those like dead superheroes, or like, he's finding out they're all dead.
Yeah.
Like you feel like those are real people, even though you never more of them. It's like you want to see more of them.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
To touch on,
incredible.
I'm sorry, to touch on what you just said about creating like a really like banging superhero world. I really like the fact that they also made like an everyday life side of it. Like you see him go to work, you see him hate his job, you see him go home to a family that is just unruly, and it's like this guy must be up to his limit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's I know I said it earlier, but when he lifts the car, he's watching. Like, what does he say again?
Me too, kid.
He's like, what were you expecting or something? He's like, well, I guess for something incredible. I don't know if that's how it went. But no, it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.